For those that have not been paying attention this last 14 months and have been manipulated by the media and the governments, that have not seen the massive censorship that's been going on, not just to everyday folks, but we're talking experts around the world, complete censorship, complete deplatforming, just because they don't go along with the narrative. For those that have been sleeping this year, that think that that we're coming out of this, that now because we have the jabs, freedom's on its way, and right, same people that would have their neighbors turned in, sent off to camps, and not allow them to have access to education, work, not allow them to access the healthcare system. These are the types of people that we're kind of facing nowadays, all over a virus with a global infection fatality rate of about 0.15%. So for those that have been asleep to these facts, that this is all these things I'm mentioning are problems that we've seen come up in just the last 14 months, that pretty much have never happened on this scale. And these same people will try to argue, well, we've never seen a pandemic like this. Guys, please don't make yourselves look foolish. COVID-19, as I just said, has an infection fatality rate of 0.15%, okay? The pandemics we've seen in the past, many of them have been much worse than COVID-19. Many of them. The Black Death, the Spanish flu. I believe there was one in 57, one in 68, something like that. These pandemics were far worse, or on par with COVID. Whereas, Spanish flu and the Black Death, completely you can't even compare COVID to those. So the argument like, oh, we've never seen this kind of pandemic before, that's why all of this is happening. No, you're wrong. We've seen much worse. This is happening because there are some very powerful organizations out there that have partnered up with governments, that have partnered up with big tech, that have partnered up with all industry, and they've made it quite clear, not a conspiracy, they've made it quite clear that they want a reset. They want a new normal. They didn't just mean a new normal for now. They meant a new normal, period. And yet people are refusing to look at that. People want to defend the crimes against humanity that are happening right now. You've got literally millions and millions and millions of people protesting around the world to be able to be free, to be able to go outside, to be able to work, to be able to simply practice their constitutional rights. And we literally have people who are looking at people that are protesting and who are blaming them as if somehow people standing up for their freedoms and their rights are the problem here. The problem here is that some virus turned into a political issue and is being used to manipulate everybody into accepting a new normal. Okay? And if you do not know who coined the term, the Great Reset, you got to look into it. It's Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum, okay? That's just one of these massive organizations that want to see our whole world move in a completely different direction than we've ever seen before, completely restructure society, into something completely different. And he said it will never ever be the same. Okay, and he's also said, that COVID-19 is not the worst pandemic we've ever seen, but it's an opportunity to essentially have a new social construct where we're as a society around the world, we just all agree to this new kind of normal. And the people speaking up don't agree. These people are awake to the fact that something very sinister is happening to varying degrees. Some people are less awake, some people are more awake. Some people just see that there's something that doesn't add up, and that's enough for them to question their government. And other people see that, this is a very well orchestrated plan involving many powerful entities. And we are the only ones who can stop it from happening. We, the people, all people, okay? Not just we, like the people that don't agree with it, we, everybody. So if you go along with it, we're all doomed. Or at least a very large portion of humanity is doomed. So the World Economic Forum, the UN, right? The UN has something called Agenda 2030. They want to change the concept of the world completely, right? Private property ownership is not part of that plan. Moving everybody into little pockets of society inside the city with mass surveillance is a part of the plan. Right? Look around you guys. Just tell me what's happening with the medical systems around the world. Tell me what's happening in science. Tell me what's happening with the economy. Tell me what's happening with people's rights and freedoms. And you're telling me that this doesn't make you question things. Anyway, I'm not even gonna say anything about people that don't question things, because it's not even worth my time. Also, the WHO, the World Health Organization, is in on that, right? They kind of handle the medical / scientific advice portion of this great reset, of this new normal. The UN kind of handles as far as I know, handles the global humanities effort to kind of bring nations together. And the World Economic Forum handles primarily economics, but there's a big web there to be looked at. And I'm not going to pretend that I know everything about it, but I've been calling out specifically the World Economic Forum on my Facebook since 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Since at least around April 2020. And I've been pointing at all the dots that are connecting world leaders to these organizations, and how they're all working in collusion together. And it's not just like Democrat versus Republican or liberal versus conservative or whatever. All the governments are in on it. They're all compromised. Like here in Canada, yeah, Trudeau's a goof. He's a psychopath. He's a dictator. But the leader of the Conservative Party is not doing any better, right? So it's not like left or right. Government has been compromised, and you have to wake up to that. I think the next thing that's going to happen is going to be, well, we've already seen now with the shortages, gas shortages, maybe food shortages coming soon, right? Because you've got people controlling the transport of food, right? So pay attention to that. Suez Canal, the fact that Bill Gates owns something like 51% of CN Rail, the fact that Bill Gates has bought up massive amounts of farmland in the United States, which I'm sure he's probably also done in other areas of the world. These big players, they're all part of it, right? They're part of it. Anthony Fauci, he's kind of the little puppet for the United States healthcare system. All nations have these little puppets, and you can see experts. I don't mean the experts on TV, the puppets, because the media is not our friend. The media is 100% an arm of the government, and the government is now an arm of globalist organizations. It's done. We the people have to take our rights, and we the people have to demand what we want in terms of how we want to live and what we want to see this world look like. But yeah, all the nations have their little puppets and their little players, but we can help all that fall apart. And some of it is falling apart, which is amazing. We have to look at the positives, right? Some of it is falling apart. Anthony Fauci's being questioned out the yin yang, and rightfully so. And Bill Gates is getting his spotlight too. Some people know about Klaus Schwab, and some people are on to Tedros, and people are kind of waking up, and then to our at-home political leaders, lots of people are awake, like the Justin Trudeau's. We know that he's a psycho. We know that Boris Johnson's a psycho. We know that Biden's a psycho. Like, we know all these people are just in on some bigger plan because they're just destroying their countries. They're destroying their nations. And it doesn't make any sense at all. It's not about their again, this is not about right or left. I couldn't care less who was in power. If they act like this, there's some serious problems going on. And you can tell that they've been compromised. Anyway, I'm not going to go on down that road much longer because, I didn't plan this video. And I don't have any notes in front of me, and I don't have any things to specifically say about it. But I've been calling it out on my Facebook for over a year, and I started calling it out on my Instagram, and I just started a Twitter, and I'm kind of calling it out there, and just started a TikTok, and I'm calling it out there. But people, this is my message here. We need to come together. We really need to come together because division is what's going to make it easier for us to be controlled. And for humanity, say bye-bye. Say bye-bye to your rights. Say bye-bye to everything you ever knew. There's going to be people that just can't even get access to anything soon. Like, look at these passport ideas. Segregation much? Discrimination much? This is medical tyranny right now going on. And the idea of segregating society based on vaccination status is cuckoo, especially for a virus like COVID. Not that it would be okay, probably in any circumstance, but especially not for COVID. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here. We need to come together. We need to bring the data to the table. And there's lots. Just because I didn't cover any in this video doesn't mean I don't have any. I have plenty. We need to bring the data to the table. We need to bring ideas together. We need to bring people together. You know why we're locked down? So they don't want us together. They don't want us talking. That's why there's a muzzle over our face. That's why we're locked down. Because they don't want us talking about our freedoms, our rights, and the ideas we have about what's going on. And Canada is one of the worst places in the world right now for freedom. So we need to come together, and we need to demand what we want. Our rights, they're ours. They can't be taken. We need to demand them. And if that involves putting the fear of fucking death in some politicians or some people who call shots, I've been saying that too. I hope that this has a peaceful resolution, but I don't know. I don't know if that's possible. We'll see. I believe that we're doing a pretty good job, and I believe that if our movement keeps growing and more people protest, that we can get somewhere. But they're setting up their plans too. They've got their plan Bs. They're waiting till winter rolls around to lock us down again. This is just a reoccurring thing that they're going to do. They're setting us up and conditioning us to accept this behavior, accept these restrictions on our lives just a little bit at a time, right? And they're brainwashing you here and there with these little words and phrases: the new normal, essential worker, essential items. Since when? Since when was not every person's work essential? Since when was not every item that's ever been available for you not essential to buy in a store, to provide for you and your family? See, now I'm starting to get pissed off, and I don't want to get pissed off. We need to come together, guys and girls. Men, you need to stand up. Men who are not standing up to this, I'm so deeply ashamed of you. Like, I could fucking rock you one in the mouth right now, or I could barf. Like, you make me sick. You make me sick. Stand up for your fucking selves, and stand up for your family, and stand up for your fellow fucking countrymen and women. It's so disgusting what's going on. Put your fucking politics aside, guys, and look around you. Let's end this division. Let's unite. Unite against a bigger problem. United non-compliance, as Chris Sky said, right? And I'm not endorsing everything Chris Sky says, but he knows what's up, and so do I. And maybe you do too. But united non-compliance, that really is the answer. You say no. You say, I'm not doing this. And you gather, which is what they don't want you to do, right? No gathering, no social. You must stay socially distanced from everyone. Yeah, I wonder why. No, we must gather. We must organize. We must love each other. We must collect our data. We must bring the law into it. And we must be prepared to fight to the fucking death. That's where I'm going to end the message. For anybody who's against this madness, you have my respect. We can only do this together. And I want to wish everybody good vibes, love, prosperity, and health. Do not let this destroy your mind, your body, or your soul. When they said we're in this together, they were brainwashing you. But when I say we're in this together, I mean something else. I don't mean what they meant. They meant we're in this together. Everybody has to agree with our plan to stay home and watch their world get destroyed. When I say we're all in this together, I mean that the people need to decide what happens now. Anyways, that's it. Peace.